Welcome into the Disney with Sean show. I am your host, Sean Wow. And now it's time for your morning reset. Today we're talking about why stress is not the enemy. And already I can imagine people are like raising their eyebrows, like stress is not the enemy. I thought stress is, you should eliminate all stress, right? Dora the Explorer, thank you, Jake. Thank you. And I think stress gets talked about in a way that makes people feel like the goal is to eliminate it completely. And that's just not real life, is it? It's not. So some stress is normal. Some stress is information from your brain, right? It tells you something matters, something needs attention, something is asking something from you, right? That kind of stress is part of being alive. The problem usually is not that stress exists. It isn't, because it is there even to protect you, I think. The problem is when it becomes constant and chronic and never really lets your system come back down. And I have a lot of that, and that's why I dysregulate so easily when I'm not walking. And congrats for taking the leap, Sean. Thank you, Joel. We'll talk later. That's why I think, and that's where people start feeling worn thin. I went too far. And I think that's where people start feeling worn thin. It's not one big thing usually that's a stressor. It's a buildup of like smaller stresses. Too much noise, right? Too many decisions. Not enough rest. You're not pausing enough before you make a decision. You're not giving your body enough rest, and it starts to carry it too much, and then the mind starts carrying it. And that's why we've talked about like getting the body moving first versus the mind, because we've done the opposite and the mind keeps the body from moving. So it's like it's really important to get the body moving, and that's why movement was yesterday or 2 days ago, right? So after a while, stress just stops feeling like an event and then starts feeling like your normal setting, right? So that's why we're talking about it. So we want to name the stress. That's why we're talking about naming things previously. I'm hoping that you are seeing the connection of these and why they're being done in a certain order, okay? That's why I think this topic matters. If stress is a signal, then the question is, right? What is telling you? What is it telling you? Do you need a breath, a pause, a walk, some food, water, less rushing? Sometimes the best response to stress is simply not fighting it. Sometimes it's listening to it sooner. Even on a Disney morning, and this is a really great example, even on a Disney morning, you can feel the difference between stimulation, which is like when we walk to the park, we have a nice calm morning, we are in our routine going through the Magic Kingdom, right? Or overstimulation. I guess energizing would have been the other one, but overstimulation is what happened when we went to Hollywood Studios for May the 4th. So that was stressful. The opposite was not. So I think the reset for today, stress is not automatically the enemy, but ignoring it for too long usually is. And pay attention to what your system is asking from you before it has to yell, like get out of the park, like mine did the other day. I think that if we ask ourselves, what is one thing stressing you right now, would be a good way to end the topic. But I want you to be honest with it and then name it. You know, you don't have to share. You don't have to share, but if you want to, you can. What was stressing me out was still even just sharing the news that I was going to be going full time with you, and I feel dysregulated because I didn't do my walking today. So I understand that I can name it, and even though I know what that stress is, I can then maybe do something about it later by taking a walk, right? So that's my example. Thank you, friends.